Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. The Pacers roll by the Bucks, and the Denver Nuggets beat the Clippers. Before we get into this, I don't want to make the video on all these teams at one time, and maybe we'll have the rest of the games tonight, especially the Lakers. But before we get into these games, the nonsense that these play-by-play guys say is just so ridiculous. I think this guy, Bob Myers, he was talking about Joker. There's no guy in NBA history that puts his team something like in better position to score than Joker. Now, that's debatable. And then he goes, the only player is LeBron James. You almost got to turn these things off, man. It's just so ridiculous. Forget about Magic Johnson. Forget about Jason Kidd. Steve Nash. Magic Johnson, Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, John Stockton. These guys like that. Forget about these guys, right? They're real facilitators that run the offense. Who cares how many, assist titles they won? Forget how many assists they had per game in a season. All that. It just doesn't matter, right? The things that these guys say is so ridiculous. I think Pete Myers said something about, I don't know if it was Pete Myers, but they both were agreeing with it. I don't know if it was a play-by-play guy or just Pete Myers, the color analyst, saying no player in NBA history has raised their level of play like Jamal Murray. Like Jamal Murray. No player in NBA history has risen their play like Jamal Murray. I mean, the things that they say, they do whatever they can, man, to keep a job. And we have some of the most welfare, cheapest, Dollar Tree play-by-play people. I think you had a WNBA woman, once again on the play-by-play the Pacers game versus Bucks. And look, I don't have nothing against this, whatever like this, but I just can't even imagine a WNBA player calling an NBA game in the 90s. That would be a disgrace. It really would. And it's nothing against, her or nothing like that, but what it shows you is that these women have no other job to do, and these women are basically welfare cases, WNBA players. And when I say that, I mean that in the sense that that league makes no profit. So they can't plug in a great analyst and pay a great analyst. ESPN can't. So they plug in these women from the WNBA because they're basically paying these women. But not only are the WNBA players, but everybody involved, to color analysts and the play-by-play women, they're not turning a profit for the WNBA. It's a group effort. If you work at a company, right? Everybody that's involved is involved to turn a profit for the company. Usually, if the company feels like you're not there, and you're not, what do you call it, being productive enough to turn a profit for their company, but they're paying you, they're going to get rid of you. But this is the WNBA, right? And I really don't know the ins and outs, but I've heard, I don't know for sure. I heard that they use the WNBA as a tax write-off on their taxes. Seriously. Like I said, I don't know for sure, but something's got to be going on. How are you losing all this money by giving these all the people that's involved? You're using water, you're using electric, you're paying all these people, from the people that sell popcorn, all these people. You pay them, the players, the coaches, the organization in the WNBA. You're paying these people and you're not making a profit. How does that make any sense? How would any company be able to stay alive this long, for as long as they've been around for decades, and a company not make a profit, the owners of the company not make a profit, and still be able to have their doors open to their customers and basically just give away stuff to their customers? That's what they're doing. So it's like a company having customers just walk in and get the product, and they're not making no money off of it. So basically they're buying it from, I don't know, just to say the company is buying it from another person to sell it or whatever like that, but they're not making a profit off of it. So they're basically just giving it away for free. If you guys know what I'm saying, I'm trying to explain this the best I can. And how does this even work? Nobody has explained to us how the NBA has been able to literally hand over money year after year and decade after decade to these WNBA players. Let's not forget the promotion of these WNBA players too, which, I guess it ain't hard when you're promoting them on your own channel. So I guess you're not losing that much money right there. But all this is disturbing to me. I just got to say that, I've heard people say, oh, the WNBA ain't turned a profit. Well, that's right. But it's the whole thing is bigger than thinking they haven't turned a profit. The thing is, Again, how are they able to literally give away money to everybody that's associated with the WNBA and lose all that money? No company is just going to hand away their money and not make a profit. It just sounds like the most ludicrous thing. If somebody can explain this to me in the comments, how this really works, because I'm blown away. You got NBA players that's always advertising with these WNBA players to try to make it look like, I guess they advertise them so you'll watch that trash of a game. Now, to me, if they acted more like women and sexy women, and they, the way they walk, the way they, talk, the way they dress, everything surrounding them, people will watch more. You know what I'm saying? But again, if it was so popular with women alone, you know how many women go to NBA games and watch NBA? Just that those women alone that watch NBA basketball or go to NBA games will watch the WNBA, they would be good. But regular heterosexual women, for the most part, don't like the WNBA. They don't like it. So let's get into this right here. We can make a whole video on that. And I really don't smash on the WNBA, but it's got to be something surrounding that thing to where the NBA, somebody told me that they're able to write off millions of dollars that they, associate with the WNBA. They're able to write that off on taxes, which is insane that these women come to work for free. I mean, they don't work for free, but, the NBA pays them and loses all that money. So let's talk about this Bucks game. And Dame Lillard need to sit his ass down. Nobody believes in you, dude. You were cleared to play. Get your ass on the court. Why are you waiting? You've been on vacation with your blood clot for I don't know how many weeks, maybe a month and a half or whatever like that. I don't know, 2 months. If you're cleared, get on the floor and play. What's the difference from you playing today and you playing 2 days from now? It makes no sense, folks. It makes no sense with this guy. I think he was looking to see if he could front run. To see if the Bucks were going to be able to win, so he could front run once he came back. Now, and if they lost, the mindset would be different, right? If they lost, he would come back, and if they lose again, he could use an excuse in like game 3 or game 4, whatever like that, to get the hell out again. This guy is an embarrassment. I told you guys before, what team has 2 top 75 players on it? What team last year had 2 top 75 players on it? I guess you could say Anthony Davis and LeBron James. So what I'm trying to say is, when you have 2 top 75 players in their prime on one team, like last year, they folded up and got hurt. This is sissy stuff to me, folks. This is sissy stuff, because the guys that I knew back in the day, they basically never missed a playoff game due to injury. They never did. They never missed a playoff game in their prime due to injury. I think when they went to the finals, the Knicks, I think when they played the 99, right? And Patrick Ewing couldn't play in that game. Patrick Ewing was he was on his last leg right there, man. Patrick Ewing was on his last leg, almost like a David Robinson. The thing is, Patrick Ewing, he was pretty much on his last leg in the second half of the 90s. I would say, 97, 98, but, he was still playing. We didn't see guys back in the day go out in their prime and be hurt in the playoffs. That was unheard of. So Dame thought he would get up when the game was over and run his mouth and say a whole bunch of stuff. This guy's a loser. He's a failure. He's not a primetime performer. And the only way he can convince me different is if he wins this series. Now, I had the Bucks winning this series because when I look at these guys on the Bucks and I look at these guys on the Pacers, I really don't see too much difference. They might be a little bit younger, but I really don't see too much difference. The thing is, in the last 4 minutes of the game, I think they were down like 12, the Bucks were. And Giannis failed to take control of this game. And they kept shooting all these threes. And Indiana was coming back down, break. So if you would have posted up Giannis and got him to play beast basketball and got you at least 6 points in that whole thing, you could have cut the lead down to 6 because Indiana was bricking away. But Giannis was giving the ball away to these guys, and it was bricking away. That's all I'm going to say about that. It's ridiculous. I blame this one on Giannis. I don't care how many points he had. Yes, you could say he carried the team into the fourth quarter and they were getting blown out because of the team. But you got to put this on your back in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes to go and stop giving these guys the ball. Get you a couple shots and reduce the lead and then kick out the ball to them once they start to because they find out that you're a threat now. You're gonna. That's what I'm saying. Giannis could post up deep and get whatever he wants, and then you kick it out to one of those guys if they try to double down on you. But they wasn't doing that. These guys weren't shooting good from 3 all damn game. They was breaking it up. But I still got the Bucks winning. I still got faith in the Bucks winning. Giannis, you can't give me no first, second, and third quarter heroics. you're going to have to give me the fourth quarter heroics. That's what the Bucks are going to need. You can't keep giving it to guys that's breaking it up from three, or just giving it to guys, period. I don't care if this is a 3-point shooting game. They were just breaking it up. So Denver, Joker got saved in that game because he missed 2 late game free throws, and the Clippers had a chance to win this game. But obviously, Joker didn't hit these key baskets. He's not this clutch player. He's always passing the ball to Murray or Gordon, or, in this case, Westbrook hit some big shots. And I'm not trying to say he shouldn't pass if he's doubled. But what I'm trying to say is he's just not this clutch playoff performer. He always has to look for these other guys to throw the ball to. So can he do it? I'm not trying to say he can't do it. But what I'm seeing from my eyes, the ball always has to get to one of these guys that Scap claims who are trash. They're not good players. He don't have a good team, but yeah, he always seems to get it to these guys that can hit clutch shots. And I heard a disturbing stat that out of all the playoff teams, Denver has the worst defense out of all the teams, like defense efficiency, differential, all this stuff. And that goes on Joker. There's no way, if you're a great center, in my opinion, if you're a great center, I'm not going to say you have to be 1 or 2, but out of all the teams that's in the playoffs, that's 16 teams in the playoffs, and you're the weakest defensive team. And why is that? Because most great players, they come with the mindset of defense first. Okay, where I came from, what I looked at and when I watched basketball, most of these great players had a defensive mindset, right? Even if they wasn't like number 1 on their team as far as defense and stuff like that, maybe the second best player had a defensive mindset. And I'm just saying that because every great leader, maybe they're just not, number 1 in defense or making defensive first teams. When we look at like Magic Johnson, you won't consider him a defensive player, but trust me, he had a defensive mindset. And that went down to the other players. Larry Bird, maybe wasn't first on his team in defense, but you had Kevin McHale, you had Robert Parrish, you had Dennis Johnson, and other guys like that. Defense was first. Okay, so even when we look at the greats, some of the all-time greats, to me, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, of course, not LeBron James. His teammates have to be defensive-minded, not him. Akeem Olajuwon, these guys like that, John Stockton, David Robinson, you know what I'm saying? There's no way you can be an all-time great to me, and you have this all-time great season, and you enter the playoffs, and your team is the worst defensive playoff team, and worst defensive team in the playoffs. How does that make any sense? What makes sense is Joker is offensive-minded. He's offensive-minded. And there's nothing wrong with that. But to me, he's strictly, I would say about more 90% offensive-minded than defensive-minded. Okay? Because he's all about his stats. That's it, right? He's all about his stats. Like Russell Westbrook, when he was doing these triple-doubles, and this guy ain't no defender. He's not defensive-minded. He's offensive-minded. So, his team hit some big shots. And to me, they saved him. And Scap can shut the hell up. Nobody cares what this guy says. I had Denver to win this, and I think because they have home court advantage, they can win this. Do I think they're going to blow them out or anything like that? I don't know. They could sweep them. They could sweep them in 4 close games. It really don't matter how they win. To me, what's glaring to me is the fact that Kawhi Leonard at times is zombie-like. He's zombie-like. Nobody knows what's wrong with this guy. He should be taking. I don't know how many shots he took. I didn't look at the stats. But this guy is zombie-like. You would think James Harden is out there doing the damn thing. Okay, as much as he can break it up, he can be clutch and he can hit shots. I mean, this guy is clutch, but he's like I don't know what to call it. He does a lot of dumb stuff too that makes no sense at all. And he takes a lot of bad shots. And I don't know what you're going to get from this guy. But to me, when you see Kawhi Leonard, you just don't get there's nothing from this guy. There's no emotion. To me, there's no splash plays. There's no taking over games. There's no, time in the game where he hits 3 straight shots or nothing like that. This guy is just zombie-like, man. I'd rather them not even have that guy on the court. Now, he will hit some shots and supposedly play defense. I guess whatever defense is in this game, I'm not too sure. But you would think if Kawhi woke up and Kawhi took, I don't know how many shots he took. Maybe he did take 15 shots. If he took, half the shots of the team and Harden took half the shots on the team, and they played real basketball, I think they could beat Denver. They was beating up on them the first half or whatever like that, and they kind of lost their way. They had a chance to win this, but it's just the same Clippers, same old Clippers, man. You're not going to get nothing out of this team because they're not consistent. They're not consistent. That's a problem with the Clippers. They're not consistent. Neither of these teams really play great defense. If you play great defense as a team, trust me, when you're up like, 15 points and stuff like that, I don't care about the three ball. But you should be able to win this game and keep a steady pace, keep a steady lead all game if you're actually playing defense. Now, I think Zubac played it as well as he could. Being that Kawhi Leonard, let me find the stats on Kawhi Leonard. Hold on real quick. Because I want to look at these stats on Kawhi Leonard. Because I just jumped on here, and to me the stats don't matter. It's what you see on the court, because a lot of these stats in this era is really misleading. Okay, so I take that back. Kawhi did take 15 shots. It didn't seem like he took 15 shots, and the reason why is he only hit 9 of them. He did play 41 minutes, 1 for 3, front of 3, and he had 22 points. And this is what I'm talking about. James Harden had 32 points, 11 for 22 from the field. Kawhi Leonard, 3 from 3 from the line. He ain't getting to the line, man. He just standing out there doing nothing really. Let me see. Harden, 4 for 9 from the 3. Their bench is horrible. They can't get no kind of nothing. Ben Simmons, 0 points. Did he even attempt? Yeah, he attempted 1 field goal, making all this money. What a crime. Zubac, 21 points, 10 for 15, 1 for 4 from the free throw line. And this is disturbing. I just don't know how to judge this these days. Zubac has 0 blocks, but like I said, the way the game is played these days, when you see a center with no blocks, I don't really know what to think of that. Kawhi Leonard has 7 turnovers. And this is what I mean. Even though he took 15 shots, you didn't even know this guy took 15 shots because he was either turning the ball over or he was missing. I mean, he didn't shoot bad from the field. I'm saying he didn't take enough shots. Let me see. So Zubac took 15 shots. James Harden took 22 shots. I would like to see some of these guys take less shots. Norman Powell took 12. I would like to see Kawhi Leonard take 20. If James Harden is going to take 22 shots, which I don't have a problem with, Kawhi Leonard should be taking about 20 shots. And these other guys, I could care less how many shots they take. But it's ridiculous. Joker took 24 shots, 12 for 24, 1 for 4 from the 3. Only got to the line 6 times. And I told you, you missed them 2 crucial free throws. I think Murray took 20 shots, 7 for 20. This guy was breaking it up early on. 3 for 7 from 3. What he had? 21 points. I think Joker. No, he missed a triple-double. Joker did. So to me, the Denver Nuggets, they escaped. They escaped out of this game, which is not surprising. I mean, it's a 4 and a 5, and I like they got home court advantage. So I just got them winning that. I think they're the better, fundamentally sound team. I think the Clippers are a more scrappy team. They hustle a little bit more. Let's see, Giannis, 14 for 23, 0 for 2 from the 3. A lot of times the plus minus, a lot of times it really don't mean nothing in the loss, because the majority of the time you're always going to be a minus unless you was doing a lot. You know what I'm saying? Unless you was getting, a lot of steals and blocks together and stuff like that, and your turnovers were low. That's the only way you're going to be a plus, or you basically weren't really in the game. You didn't have that many minutes in the game. So Giannis did have 36 points. He had 5 turnovers, 2 blocks. I think 2 blocks at the end of the game, if I'm not mistaken. He had 2 blocks, so he wasn't doing too much blocking the whole damn game. He had 1 assist. Wow. That's just nuts. And, the rest of his team, the starting lineup, look at this. Prince was 0 for 1 from 3. Giannis 0 for 2. Kuzma 0 for 2. Brook Lopez, which sometimes can knock those threes down, 0 for 2. Who is this? Rollins, 1 for 4. I mean, Prince didn't even get to the line. Giannis shot 15 shots from the line. Kuzma 0 for 2 from the line. Lopez only shot 3 from the line. And Rollins, he didn't even get to the line. And then you have just about all the bench players didn't get to the line except for, who is this? Porter Jr. I think he was 8 for 8. 8 for 8 from the line. And that's really all the offense he gave you. I mean, this was crazy, man. To me, this is an okay duel. Siakam and Turner clogging up the paint. Halliburton, he really didn't have a good game. He was 3 for 13 from the field, 0 for 7 from 3. Some of these guys really ain't three-point shooters, man. They're just not. They just take a lot of threes. And look, he was 0 for 7. If he would have went 2 for 7, he would have kept shooting if he had more opportunities. 4 for 6 from the line. Halliburton only had 10 points. Siakam had 28. And Turner had 19. I mean, the bench gave you, I think the bench gave him like almost 30 points off the bench. I mean, they had some good bench play for the, I wouldn't say it was good bench play, but it was okay from the bench for the Bucks. So that's what you got right there. I don't know what you can make out of a lot of these games in game one, but I still have the Bucks coming back and win this series, especially if Dame can come and give them 20 points, 25 points. I mean, this is what this guy gets paid for, and this is why he's supposed to be in the top 75, supposed to be a superstar, all this stuff. And I'm trying to tell you, man, if this guy don't come through in these playoffs, this guy to me is not a top 75 player. To me, he won't even be a top 100 player. I don't want to hear nothing about no damn blood clot. Like I said, there was no excuse for this guy not to play in this game, because I said, what's the difference between him playing on Saturday and Monday? There's no difference, folks. Don't give 2 more days. You know, the doctor said no. you got to start using your own mind, your own thinking, your own brain. And they're looking at this thing. How am I going to play? I'm going to just sit back and watch this game. I got enough energy to run my damn mouth on the sideline while we're getting beat, because I don't want to play. But I got enough energy to do that in top players who are playing and can play through pain. See, we can't say pain with this guy. We got to say a medical disorder, right? I mean, this stuff is so ridiculous. Like I said, I don't know where a blood clot would come from. These guys supposed to have the best medicine, the best nutrition, the best recovery, everything. Am I going to say it can't happen? No. But I'm just saying, I think, like, just with Victor Wembanyama, this will be the new thing. I was shocked because they said he was out for the season when he went out for this blood clot. And I said, I don't know if you heard me, but this dude is lame time. Lame time if he don't come back in and they win this series. There's no excuse for them not to win this series. But like I said, he set out this game because he wants to see really what he can get away with, right? If they lose the next game, oh, my blood clot, man. The blood clot, it flared back up. All this crazy stuff. That's all you're going to hear. That's all you're going to hear. For Giannis to have to carry this team with this guy sitting on the bench, and this guy got like a necklet on or something like that. You know those Pandora bracelets, right? With the little what do you call them? I forget the word. Those pendants that go around the Pandora bracelet. So he's got like something around his neck that's real, you know, like a neck hugger chain. I guess it's gold, but he got different pendants going around it like a little sissy. These dudes, this is, I don't know if this is the new fashion or he's trying to promote this as a fashion, but you look like a sissy dude. Put some ice on your neck and rock it right below your chest. What are you doing wearing a Pandora necklet? I mean, you can't take these guys serious, man. You can't take these guys serious. They're sitting up there talking about Joker's horses. They're talking about Joker's horses in the middle of the game and stuff like that. I think they asked Braun or something like Brown, whatever his name is, about Joker. And he said, oh, Joker loves this game more than anybody. You know, he watches every game and all this stuff. And I'm like, like, I don't care about all this stuff. If we want to hear these players, let's really hear these players promote the game. Back in the day, we used to hear from players in their opinion about the game, their opinion about everything. We don't want to hear a play-by-play guy, you know, give his opinion on what a guy thinks. When we want to hear Michael Jordan, we heard Michael Jordan. When we want to hear Karl Malone or Grant Hill or Jason Kidd or Scottie Pippen or David Robinson, these guys like that, they sat down with them and had interviews with them and showed the interview at halftime, before the game, whatever like that. We got to hear from these guys. But I'm just trying to tell you, man, I think these guys, I'm not trying to say Joker, but I'm saying a lot of these guys can't promote the game because I think they're undercover zesty fruity. For real. That's what I think they really are. Undercover zesty fruity, and they don't really know how to, come out and express themselves and carry themselves on camera like men. I remember I was watching I don't know what game it was. Was it a Bulls game in the 90s? And they had Jason Kidd and they had Grant Hill, and they had them in an interview at halftime. And it was great. I think Peter Vesey was interviewing them, and then they was breaking down the game and stuff like that at halftime. It was great, man. These are this type of stuff we used to see back in the day, and it made the NBA great because they promoted the NBA players, and you got to hear them talk. You got the, they talk with class, intelligence. You know what I'm saying? They didn't talk like idiots. Now, I'm not going to try to say that young people don't act a certain way, especially when they're off camera. Everybody acts a certain way, maybe when they're out of work. And for professional people that's on the camera or in the public eye like that, of course they, supposed to act a certain way on camera, and maybe they act a different way off of camera, but it's called professionalism to sell your product. You know what I'm saying? At work, you might hear your boss talk to, a customer in a certain way. He would never talk to that customer the way he talks with you, like buddy or something like that. It's professionalism. But these guys right here, it's something weird with these guys that they can't, I don't know. And I'm not trying to say they all, act like Anthony Edwards or something like that, but I'm just saying it's a reason why these guys aren't promoted on a high level like past NBA stars and stuff like that. They're just not. It's something about them that they don't have it in them that, I don't know, that, I'm trying to be nice, man. I'm serious. I done seen so much stuff where these guys act so zesty off of camera that I think for them to be on camera and try to act like something they're not, it's hard for them. It's hard for them. I'm just being straight up. It's hard for them not to act manly. I'm being serious. So they can't promote these guys. I'm trying to tell you. I got a feeling like 75% of this NBA is zesty. Zesty as can be. I'm serious. And look, none of that matters to me. If that's what you want to be that. But this is, to me, this is why you don't have no man energy coming from these guys. They don't hit the weight room. I'm looking at Halliburton. I'm like, ugh. How could you wake up with millions of dollars and look at your arm and you look like Dan Gumby? You look like you just came into the league out of college. How do you look like this? Even Muggsy Bogues was stocky. We ain't trying to say Muggsy Bogues was muscle bound, but Muggsy Bogues won't walk around skinny. Spud Webb won't walk around skin and bones. A lot of these guys won't do it. No. I don't understand how these guys can walk around looking like that. I was looking at Trae Young. I'm like, ugh, how did you what? How are you walking around like that, man? And these guys are cool. Like, I wouldn't even do it because of women. Even though I would want a woman to look at me as a man, you know what I'm saying? I have all this money. I have all this equipment around me to put on muscle. And I'm not trying to say you got to be like muscle bound, because we all look at Giannis and we're like, oh yeah, Giannis is strong. But Giannis ain't as big as most of the power forwards back in the 80s and 90s. He's not. Giannis is lean. He won't be considered a big power forward by height, yes. But by weight, no. I won't even consider, let's just say, take Horace Grant, right? Horace Grant, before he even start lifting weights, was bigger than Giannis is now in size. I'm being serious. But, at least Giannis went and got some cut. And I won't call that bulk. I just, see he's got cut or whatever like that on his arms. And that's what, when you look at Scottie Pippen when he first came in, he was just like a toothpick. He was a pencil. Did he go and get bulk? No, he went and got cut. He went and got strong. But what I'm trying to say, these guys won't even get strong, man. They won't even, I don't care if they're not bumping and grinding. None of that means nothing to me. You can't even go back and look at 60 players, 70 players, and probably not even 50 players and see them that skinny as these guys are today. To me, it's disgusting. When you see a lot of these guys like that, just skinny as can be like that, it's disgusting to me that a man could wake up and want to be skin and bones at that height. It's not like you're 5'7", 6 foot. Dude, well, Trae Young is pretty small, but he's skinny as hell. But on the other hand, look at Halliburton. This guy, look how tall he is, like 6'6", 6'5", whatever he is. He's skin and bones. To me, no, I don't want to. When I look in the mirror, I don't want to look like that, man. I remember I was skinny, in all the way until my mid-20s, and I started working out. Also, when you start working out, you're going to start putting on not only muscle but bulk, because your body is going to demand more food, so you're going to be more hungrier, and that's where you're going to start to gain weight. But these guys don't lift weights, and therefore, guess what? Their body doesn't demand a lot of food. I don't know what these guys. I told you when we did the piece with Kevin Durant, this guy is skinnier today than he was in OKC, than he was back at Texas, than he was with the Nets, than he was with the Warriors. He's more skinnier now than he was back then. And back then, that was the biggest knock when he was coming into the league, how skinny he was. And he really never got no bigger per se. I think he gained a little bit when he went to the Warriors. But now with the Suns, this guy is disgusting looking out there. And we don't know if he took something because, we talk about how he was able to keep playing and, his field goal percentage went up, since, he had got that surgery when he hurt himself with the Warriors and stuff like that. But what we're saying, we don't know if he took some drugs or he took something so he was able to keep playing at a high level, which made his weight go down. We don't know, but to me, he looks sick. He looks, he looks malnutrition. He looks like he needs some help. I don't know, man. I don't see why nobody hasn't questioned that. Nobody hasn't seen that. But trust me, you don't get skinnier as you get older. It's basically impossible. If you're skinny when you're young, you eventually start gaining weight. That's just how it is, unless you're like really sick. But this guy went totally in reverse. If you want to go watch that video, he's skinnier now than he was at Texas. His face is sunken in. The meat on his bones is basically gone. And I don't know. I think that's why he's always hurt too, because he's so skinny since yes, he's been able to play, but he misses a lot of games because he's frail. But that's it. We might have the Lakers game tonight. These two games, they were good games. There wasn't no controversy really or nothing like that. A whole bunch of bad fouls or we can't. I mean, this is regular stuff right here with the NBA. These officials. These are like bubblegum machine officials, Dollar Tree officials, or something like that. They need a monitor, an instant replay to question what they really see. And what's so ludicrous about it? We tell you that they didn't need this stuff back in the day because this is what the referees got paid for, to do a damn job. This ain't football to where it's a big ass field and stuff like that. So you might not be able to see something or something like that. This is a basketball court where even the damn fans can see this stuff. But this is how awful these officials are, that they need instant replay. And when you see these games and you see these guys miss all these calls and they don't even know if it went out of bounds, it hit on somebody or something like that, and they get it wrong a lot of times. It's just ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. A lot of times they call foul when it ain't a foul. They don't call foul when it is a foul. They don't know if it went out of bounds. It's just like, what do you guys get paid for? What are these WNBA officials? Some cheap labor officials, and that's what I'm trying to say. Nobody has money to pay nobody for good officiating, for play-by-play, for good ESPN analysts, for good nothing no more, for ESPN, a talk show. But suddenly the NBA has all this money to pay these players record-breaking contracts, but nobody, anything associated with the NBA, there's no money for nobody else, and it's a failing product. So if you want me to believe these guys make this kind of money, go ahead. Like I said, my star player, the greatest player in the 2020s, right? Joker, there's no way he's going back to Serbia after the season is over and go play a whole damn Serbia season. For what? And then go into the playoffs too and play championship games for what? You're trying to tell me I would risk the greatest player of the 2020s get hurt? What would he need money for if he's making, $40-50 million a year? What would he? They don't give me no love of the game over there. Ain't no love of the game if you're the great. That's like Michael Jordan going to play in another damn league. They would not let a star player get that kind of contract and you're going to play in another league. So it's obvious to me these guys don't make this kind of money. And he goes over there and play in that league because he's trying to make some money. They can't tell me no different, because there will be stipulations in his contract. You ain't playing in that league. Because if you suffer an injury and you can't play the next season or a career season injury, we're done. You're on the contract. So tell me what you think.